Check it out. Thursdays, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, noon Eastern. A healthy dose of Jersey Girl wisdom. Live with Rev Jersey Girl. Sponsored by New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
New Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.
Hey there, good morning, good afternoon, depending upon where you are. Rev Michelle Wadleigh here, Rev Jersey Girl on the Jersey Girl Wisdom Show. I'm glad to have you back again. And I'm glad to invite you into my home in the middle of the chaos of my construction that I continue to live with. So you are here with me at live in the middle of my chaos. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing anyway, because that's life. And I think that on the show today with my guest, my precious guest, we're going to talk about how life keeps being life, even when you think you're trying to have a spiritual, a spiritual life. Sometimes people think that when they become spiritual, that suddenly life gets easier or there's no problems. Au contraire, it's just not so. But we're going to, chat about it, bring some life to it. And to do so, I would like you to meet a new friend and someone whose show I will be on next week and her show. I'd like you to invite in and welcome Danae Shanti to the Jersey Girl Wisdom Show. Hello, beloved.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you.
How are you?
Thank you. I'm glad to know what you said. Just right on. We think we are spiritual. We get to a certain level of awakening or evolution, and it's smooth sailing from there. It's like, so not how it is.
Yes, it is not. Hello, Judy Konecki. Hello, dear one. Yes, it's not. And I think I used to, when I was a young, matter of fact, I just want to say, I realized the other day, this is my 20th year as a minister. Wow. With COVID and all the chaos and not having a physical location, I haven't really thought about it. But the truth is, this is a big anniversary for me this year. But I used to shy away from that. But when people say, "Oh, but I've been taking classes, everything should be okay," it's like, not quite that simple. Not quite that simple, and I could suddenly go off on a whole conversation about all that, but let's stay focused on you. And so for the audience, Danae and I are newly acquainted and have spent some time trying to get to know each other. And I did spend time with her and her show. What's the name of your show, Danae?
So my show is Gather, Love, Thrive.
Love it.
Spark Within.
Love it. Love it. So I'm going to be Danae's guest next week, and give us the time.
11 o'clock Mountain Time. And it's a half hour, so 11 to 11:30. And
on what day of the week?
On Thursday.
So they're going to see me and then see me.
Right, exactly. We get double Jersey Girl, double Jersey Girl. What do I have to say? 3 times first, double Jersey Girl time.
Might be a little bit too much on that Thursday, but that's okay. Greetings, Laurie Carlson. So glad you're here. So there are a number of things I want to chat with Danae about. because in the last time we met, we found out that we had some shared life experiences, right? We did discuss that, and some of them weren't great experiences, but they're the things. I love the Kelly. It's a Kelly Clarkson. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger.
Yes.
Yeah. That was my theme song for a few years when I was going through some major changes. And so that the truth is, and we don't like to, I don't like to use that as, don't worry about this, it's going to make you stronger. But the truth is you grow in so many ways.
Yeah.
And so before we go into some of those, though, I want you, I'd love for you to tell the audience and do some self-promotion here about your newly published book, the Wise Inside book. Show us the cover and tell us all about it.
Oh, Wise Inside, the hero formula. So what happened? It's very interesting. Trying to figure out which way. Anyway, there it is, and it's available on my website, which I know Diego's going to be showing momentarily. The story behind that is, like you and like so many on New Thought Media Network and so many in the world, I listen within to what God's telling me to do. And for the longest time, I kept hearing, write a book, write a book, write a book. And like you, I've taught thousands of people how to access that voice inside. And I also have a really stubborn personality. And all my mind can come up with is, there's too many things to write a book about. I don't even know where to begin. What do you mean write a book? So this past January, I kept getting that message every morning in meditation, write your book and everything else will unfold. I'm like, what does that mean? Everything else will unfold? Because as far as I knew, I was resting. And so I said to God, if you want me to write a book, you have to set up the circumstances so that I'm completely alone and on retreat so that I can concentrate. And the next day, my brother and sister-in-law called and said, we need you to house sit for 10 days. Are you available starting in a few days? So I was like, all right, that was an obvious message. So I went, I sat in front of the computer and I said, okay, God, this is your book. I don't even have a topic. Like what? What? And I just prayed and I put my fingers on the keyboard and outpoured this book in 10 days flat. And on the last day, Rev Brez found me and said, would you like to have a show on New Thought Media Network? And I went, that's what Spirit was talking about. Write the book and everything else will happen. So that was this past January.
So I want to make sure that the audience doesn't miss something that you said that's very important. And it was a lesson I learned a long time ago from Carolyn Mace. And for those of you who say Miss, I think she pronounced it Mace. So just so you know, we're speaking about the same person. She was the person who taught me to ask or to request direct guidance and knowledge, so that when, and I think she would say this, and there's the Essenes, an old Christian sect, would also wake up in the morning, and one of the first questions they ask, and she would ask, is, give me what is mine today, not more, not less, show me what it is, and be clear.
Yeah.
And so that's what you did. You set yourself up, and you asked, which is a word that many New Thought people avoid, because we're so arrogant. We're just so arrogant. We don't want to think about, we ask for help, right? But the fact is that it's not about asking to an outside source,
right?
Which is what you said your book is about. It's when you ask, you open up a portal between you and the greater you.
Yeah, so the book Wise Inside is pointing to the Spirit of God. We're all God sparks. And the Spirit of God is alive within us, as us, through us, acting through our forms to bring blessings to the world. The whole entire book is 7 easy steps for anyone to use in any situation to drop down into the listening and the receiving of guidance. That's what it's about. In my case, every day, I think I've been doing this since 1987 when I went through a thing. Every day, my prayer is, beloved God, I know that this instrument is yours. You made this. This is for your use. Whatever it is that you wish to fulfill in yourself this day, use me. I'm the instrument through which you perform miracles of love. Let yourself be filled today and use me as your instrument. That is my prayer every day. And then I say, if there's anything you need for me to consciously know to direct the personality, make me do it, direct me, tell me, make it clear. Otherwise, just take me through it.
Right.
Make it happen. I'm yours, you know.
Beautiful. You know, many years ago, I went to Revelations, one of Michael Beckwith's things, when he was before he started traveling the country, and he had it in the hotel in LA, and ran into a friend of mine who was there for the same thing. And I was there when now the song had already been used many times, but I have to call out and give applause to Ricky Byers and her song "Use Me."
Yes.
And I can remember standing in this hotel room with my arms. Oh my God, I could feel it. I have the feeling retained in my body temple with my arms up, and we'd be singing that song "Use Me." And it's when you're willing to put the ego aside, the one that wants to drive everything, and to turn to that one that wants to allow everything, right?
Oh yeah, I love her. I've seen her sing that. It just goes right through my bones. I mean, I feel much safer, to be honest with you, having the God consciousness direct this vehicle and this personality and this life, because if I'm left to my own personality and my willfulness, I am stubborn, I am dense, I have lots of control issues, and I think that I'm on the planet to, not pay attention to my pain and my suffering that needs healing, but the wounded healer stick. Let me help everyone in the world, but I'll just not. And I had to learn boundaries. It's like, you know what, wounded healer, pay attention to thyself, and then let the spirit serve through you. That doesn't come naturally. There's no textbook for that when you're growing up. That's an inside learning. And I know you and I have talked about this. For me, that learning has come through a lot of suffering.
Yeah.
It's like enough pain. And then you finally surrender and say, got it. I'm going to make a mess of this life. So I turn it over and I surrender. I give it back to you every day. This is your life. Live it as you choose to. Use me as your instrument. I feel much safer.
You want way to say that? Oh, it's safer, you said. Okay.
I feel safer that way than letting my personality run amok. It doesn't mean I don't have a vivid, colorful personality. Certainly I do. I just have learned that I can make a real mess out of things really quickly and really well. And I prefer not to live that way. Right.
I want to come back and talk more about your book. Let me just do a little commercial for the moment. So, listeners, I'm really going to ask you to join me here. Every show that is on this New Thought Media Network has some value for someone. It's got prayer, it's got visioning, it's got special guests like Danae and many other wise and beautiful people. The way you tell Reverend Briz and everybody to keep going, the way you do this is to take out your checkbook or your credit card. So please take out your checkbook, your credit card, your Venmo, your PayPal, your Zelle, your pennies. They don't care how, but please do whatever you can to support in some small or large way this radio station to keep it going. Because, sometimes it's when something is threatened to not be there is when you realize how much you value it. So please take time to click on that link and find it on Facebook and donate some money. Okay.
You just inspired me with an idea, Michelle. If people want to, so first of all, I make donations to New Thought Media Network regularly because
me too.
What an awesome opportunity. And for any of the guests who follow you, because no one really knows me yet, for any of the guests who follow you, if they want to shoot me an email and say, hey, I'm buying your book, On Amazon, I know there's a lot of platforms it's going to be on, but right now it's just available on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm buying your book. I will donate half. It's like less than $13. So I will donate half of every book purchased by your guests. They just have to email me and let me know, and that'll go straight to New Thought Media Network. So let's purpose this beyond.
Okay, great, fantastic, thank you. And my next question was gonna be tell the audience how they can get your book, but now if you're willing to get the book and you alert us to, or alert Danae that you bought it because of this show today.
Yes.
So keep that present, okay? Or maybe, I don't know, maybe with the recordings even, she's willing to donate half the proceeds.
Absolutely.
So fantastic. Thank you.
I have chills. Yeah, just to let me know. And if you go to my website, which Diego's putting up here and there, DanaeShantiThrive.live, there it is, you'll see my email address, which is basically my name, Danae at DanaeShantiThrive.com. That way I could get a heads up directly and be like, let's do it. Let's team up and really feed.
Right. Thank you. You know what? I'm sorry. I didn't think about that the other times when I've spoken about a few things I've done. So I'll have to remember that. Great idea. So tell us a little bit more about your hero process, or may I, for this moment, call it the Shiro process.
The Shiro. I know. To me,
just for us.
No, I know, but to me, the word hero is a neutral word, and I've had so many people say, but what about the woman? I'm like, hero is a non-gender word. We're all heroes, heroines. But if you wrote heroine inside, it just comes across weird,
Yep.
I don't want to do heroine inside.
Right.
So since I had an awakening of sensitivities, if you will, in 1987. So I've been out there traveling in the country, teaching people to wake up by listening within for what is God for them. I can't dictate what is God for anybody. So for them to listen, what's real for them. And I was getting anxious because I have over 30 years of this wealth of knowledge that I want to offer in a simple way, not directly through workshops or classes. I want to step out of that, and how do I make it available? So I prayed, and what came was, write your book. Back to the beginning of the story. I don't want to write a book. I still didn't know what I was writing about. And so my fiance and I were on a little vacation in the mountains, and we thought we were going to be writing a song together. We're both singer-songwriters. And I was praying and meditating. He started playing piano, and all this golden light started pouring through my body. And I thought, surely here comes lyrics. And what came was, I work with a team of guides. We can get into that if we want. Their name is Thea. And what came was Thea's voice, and Thea said, take dictation. So I did. And what came out of my hand was 7 steps to the hero formula, that everybody has the capacity to be the hero in their own life story, that we're writing our stories, and that we have the capacity to show up for ourselves beyond our stories of insecurity and fear. And so I took dictation, and there it was, 7 steps. Who were you at the time? What is your predicament? How do you ask Spirit, God, Universe for help? How do you recognize and receive your guidance? What choices do you make about the guidance you received? What action do you take based on your choices? And what are the results? 7 super easy steps. Beautiful. And it blew my mind. I was like, oh, whoa. Like, my personality would never have come up with that. It was given to me. And so it turns out the book is a lot of really amazing, funny, mystical, spiritual stories about lots of stuff that I've lived through, including almost dying, and the 7 steps made super easy for anyone to use. So that's what it's about.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I want to switch the direction just a little bit, because I really loved the conversation we had last time and what we started in the studio before, because and there's a lot of moms out there, and moms, grandmas, and a lot of there's a single moms and single dads. So I want to make sure we don't leave out the single dads. Anybody who is struggling to raise a family mostly alone, either alone or mostly alone. Mm-hmm. Life life is pretty damn hard like that. I just want to say it straight up. No one knows. No one knows what you go through. No one knows how hard it is. No one knows about the pressure of trying to, prioritize your child and then keep life going. And so, because we chatted about that a little bit before, I wanted you to, if you would, share with the audience a little bit about what that journey was for you, if you don't mind, because I'm sure there are people here that will absolutely relate to your story.
There's so many aspects to it. My son was the greatest miracle in my life. And his father and I gratefully co-parented. We split up when our son was only 2.5. So that was excruciating, because I had this idea, married happily ever after, we have a family now, and off we go. And that just wasn't what ended up happening. So I want to address what goes on in our bodies. Mothers as women, we have a particular, these precious beings grew inside of us. So we are not just a psychic umbilical cord, it's a full body sense of this precious soul that took a form inside our bodies. And we are never truly individuated or separated from our offspring. I don't care how old they are and how old we are. There's a soma there that's permanent. So there's one thing. The fathers have that more in a emotional, psychic kind of a way, sensitivity. I had the great privilege to be able to live one of my dreams. Since I was a little girl, I always dreamed of using my voice to be able to do good for God, and especially I wanted to help orphans. And long story short, I became part of a band that was originating in Japan called the Global Harmony Band. And our mission was to raise money to build orphanage for the street children of Burma and Cambodia. Many years ago, there was a movie called The Killing Fields. And what was going on is they were taking these poor children who had no parents and putting them in trucks and taking them out to the fields and killing them because they wanted to clean up the streets. I mean, what a nightmare. And I had an opportunity to join a band. We formed specifically for this mission, and that was a childhood dream of mine. So here I am touring Japan under the name Yume. It's my Japanese name. And we raised money. We traveled all over Japan and the US, Hawaii, raised money and built the orphanage for dreams. And we were able to house a bunch of children.
Bless you for that, by the way. And all who participated. Thank you, God, for that.
It was a great grace to be invited to live my dream, right? And I was getting to serve God with my voice in a genuine way. And we got to so I was only out like 2 or 3 weeks at a time over a 3-year period. And during that time, my former husband would take our son. And it's the only way that I could go is because I knew my son was in perfect care with his dad. I had to have that safety and sanity. And one day, His Holiness Gayuna Cielo, the Burmese Buddhist monk who put the band together, said, we're going to go very fast now, and we're going to start to travel through other countries. We're going to do a lot of service work really fast, and we're going to stay out longer. And I just knew in my bones, there's no way I'm going to do that. Even though it was my calling from a soul level, my contract with God, my greater calling was to be mother to my son. And so I walked away from that dream, and I got to do 3 amazing years. I'm so grateful. We got an orphanage and happy children out of it. And I got to witness my son in his own becoming. And some of it was really rough. Our kids these days, there's so much stimulation and so much disconnect in the world. They don't know how to feel safe in their skin. And so I happen to have a child with some special needs who was super psychically awake and like he had no boundaries. And it was terrifying at times, helping him find his body, his here and now, being who he is now. And in the middle of that, in his early teens, I had an autoimmune disease that kicked in big time, kicked my butt, and I came really close to dying. And he was with me during a lot of that, and navigating the terror of being that close to death, not being able to mother my own son, and having him be just old enough to walk by my bedroom, which was on the way to his bedroom, and see the terror in his face that he didn't want to have to see me in the state I was in, and he couldn't do anything about it. And watching his anguish, coping with that,
right.
while I was there unable to serve him. There's so much that single parents go through that are helpful in the first place, just taking care of yourself and taking care of your child. And in my case, the only thing that got me through all that was prayer, surrender, and more prayer. There's no other way through the pain but through the pain, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And these days, we just came out of a year and a half of isolation with COVID. Some places it's still ramped up. You know, all those parents that had to learn how to support their kids on computers to get
Oh my God, I know. I mean, I've watched this close up with my grandchildren and my daughter-in-law as a teacher, and then other close people in my community. And yeah, they were pulling. Some people were pulling their hair out. That's just no other way to say it. Yeah, it's hard.
And you've had your journey too. We've talked about this, what it was like for you going through what you went through.
Well, regarding my son, yeah, but I want to tie something together with beyond me at the moment. To all the single parents out there, I just want to honor you. You're going to get through it. There's moments where it feels like you can't, but you can. And I also want to say that if you actually have the capacity to see the show, or to those of you watching, if you want to share the show with somebody else that is a single parent, not that this show was supposed to be focused about that. It's focused on Danae, but it's your experience that brought out your brilliance, that created the book, and your relationship to intelligence, right? But I want to take the moment to say, there's always support out there beyond what you think. And sometimes it comes from a perfect stranger. So, even if it's through Facebook, for asking for support for this radio station, it might be prayer, but I'm with you, Danae. I've seen the world transform through the power of prayer. I've seen major, dramatic, miraculous healings happen through prayer. And so I just would love the moms or the parents to just not feel alone. To me, that's probably one of the single most important things in the world, is for me to, especially within my community, and I don't feel like I'm doing a great job at the moment because I'm very self-indulged with my chaos, but I think letting people know that they're not alone, that they're not forgotten, that they're mainly not forgotten. And whether it's, and to all of us who always watch this show, whether you reach out through phone, visit, text, email, whatever it is, letting somebody know that they're not forgotten, I think is critical. Even still now, even though COVID's been lifted, lighter, it's still happening and people are still feeling isolated. So anyway, that's just my little personal commercial about these things, because I just tend to think of how they apply, in the meat of life.
Thank you for saying all that. Totally. Always, always, always. Inclusion and connection. That's the medicine. Inclusion and connection, and asking for help. Never being too proud. One of the things that I've had to learn the hard way is to put our stories down. If I have a story that I'm supposed to be independent, I'm supposed to be this and that as a parent, that story is ego-driven, and it gets in my way of being humble and having humility and asking for help. I'm really suffering here, and we need to reach out to each other. It's not that we're a global family by concept. It's literal. There goes another myself. How can I serve? How can I help? So I just want to piggyback on what you're saying, and thank you for encouraging the parents to reach out, find each other, help each other.
Yes, absolutely. Is there sound coming through my speaker at this moment?
Yeah.
Yep, because there's construction in the back. So I'm struggling here a little bit because I thought the noise was going to be more quiet. So
You don't ask for help. You don't allow room for grace to appear. That's beautiful. Yes.
yeah, yeah. Um, the other thing about this is, yeah, I mean the allowance to allow love, to allow for love. Love is knocking at our door all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It is always knocking at the door, but we don't always answer it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the critical thing. Um,
You
so
know, you know what helps open us to that love, and my experience is curiosity. When I'm feeling tight, my control issues are coming up, and I'm not feeling the love of the God spark within me. I'm not feeling the truth that I am that love embodied and walking on the planet. When I can remember, I open in curiosity. I notice I'm feeling really uptight right now and I'm wanting to control things. I wonder what would happen if I got curious about that. Like, what would happen if I didn't control things? What would happen if I didn't feel tight right now? I'm just curious. And every time that curiosity just opens everything and allows what your guest said before, allows that grace to come in and meet me where I am and open a way through that I could not perceive on my own. So curiosity is also a really great tool for us.
well, I think curiosity is the total cure to judgmentalism. So, for me, that's something I teach all the time. But the other thing you just kind of said quickly was about making mistakes. There's very few mistakes that we make that are permanent. I mean, there are. Okay,
Yeah.
You could put your finger in a socket, and but there's many mistakes that we think are so meaningful, we find out that they're not.
Mm-hmm.
So, in closing our time together today, do me a favor, share with us what little piece of wisdom that matters, that really lies on your heart, that you want to share with our audience.
Thank you. I really do believe, experience, and I've seen in the thousands of people I've trained their experience, we really are not alone. That the God consciousness is animating this form, is bringing the life, is in all things, and that really the answers are within. They really, 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 truly are. And sometimes it's not that we're afraid that we won't get answers. We're afraid that we will, because God is very intimate. And sometimes that's actually what we're afraid of, is having God say, I know every little freckle on your face and every little hair on your head. And guess what? I've got you. So I really want to encourage people to turn within and listen more. Not in any religious way, just whatever way is natural and true for them.
Yeah, they could just think of it as the inner wisdom, inner intelligence. But you said before that you're stubborn, and I know I've had arguments with God. I've had guidance. I go, oh no, not that.
Oh yeah,
No, not that one.
Yeah.
In the end, just give it up because you're going to do it. If you really want a guided life, trust me, at some point, all those arguments are not going to work, and you're just going to be guided, which is a good thing. Danae, thank you. Everyone, let's bring back her website again, please, and the name of the book, which is Wise Inside. Mm-hmm. Not only would I like you to buy the book anyway, I would like you to buy the book, especially now because she is willing to donate half of the proceeds of the book to this radio station, which is such a good cause. So Danae, thank you, my love. Thank you. And I guess I'll see you next week, kinda.
And we'll see Michelle on Gather Love Thrive next week, Thursday at 11 Mountain. We get double doses of Michelle. What a blessing.
Double whammy. And you're welcome. Thank you for being here. To all those of you watching, I love you. Thank you. As I say each week, be well, Be happy, be brilliant. We'll speak soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, love.